I struggled with school. Then I tried to apply to University of Calgary. That didn't work. Struggled at SAIT. That didn't work. Trying to apply through IT jobs and learning IT. That didn't work. Failed dramatically. And then I was like, screw it, let's do it. Let me live my life. I was running away from a lot of trauma. And I got into music as a promoter. Listening to music gave me the sense of healing.
Welcome to the Calgary Sessions. This is episode number 155. I'm your host, Jeff Humphreys. Before I get into it, if you like this one or any previous ones, please go and leave a review. Actually, write words or leave stars. I would appreciate it. Today's guest, our mutual friend, Mr. Britton, did this intro, so thanks, Britt. I've heard about your name for a long time. I've seen you popping up for a long time, so to actually get you here finally to hear your story is going to be a cool experience. So name and who you are.
Yeah, my name is Musap. I go by the name Moose. I can say that I'm a jack of all trades. I do a lot. So I serve as the president and CEO of an organization called Struggle is Your Success, an innovative not-for-profit focused on entrepreneurial skills for at-risk youth. And I'm a founding member of an AI, artificial intelligence firm that teaches kids STEM through AI.
It's interesting because, people ask me, who's coming on this week? I'm like, this dude Moose. And they're like, what does he do? I'm like, well, and I'm trying to, because you got it looks like you got your hands in a bunch of different things and,
right.
You're a part of a bunch of different communities. So to actually hear you say the thing, now I can answer the question properly, which is good.
Yeah.
You've seen a couple of these.
Yes.
So you kind of know what's about to go down.
It's not easy.
It's a unique environment,
right?
And it is, it's just 100. I'm 154 in, so this is comfortable for me.
Yeah.
When some characters show up, they're like, holy shit! There's lights and there's cameras and there's all these things and there's So, anyways, we'll be just fine.
Cool.
So take this thing back. Where you grew up, how you grew up, parents, siblings, jobs, school. And then we'll just kind of connect all the dots to where you are today.
Sure. So I was born in Sudan, Northern Africa. Born there. I'm the oldest of five.
Okay, big family.
Yeah, big family.
Yep.
And
How long were you there?
Like 2 months, and then I moved to Canada.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So my dad immigrated from Sudan all the way to the U.S.
Okay.
And then from there, he was in New York, he was in California, and then he moved to Toronto, Ontario. Mm-hmm. And then, we moved all over Canada.
Why'd your family move? What was the...
My dad wanted a better life.
Yep.
And I think he was pursuing his master's. He's an accountant. Yeah.
When do memories start kicking in for you? So for me, I have a bad memory for some reason, and I kind of... My childhood I remember it, but I don't remember a lot of details. When do you start remembering things? Like when you're bouncing around or like when you got to a certain city, when did this start?
So I have a picture of myself in Olympic Plaza when I'm 3 years old, in the ice skating ring. That's where all the memories.
That's it. It's like clicks right there.
Yeah, it clicks right there. Right. So
3.
Yeah, 3.
And so 3 till whatever, elementary-ish. What is your, and I guess what's really fascinating for me, 5 of you.
Yeah, there's 5 of us.
Mom and dad make this big move to North America, bounce around, get to Calgary. So what does early days in your life kind of look like?
So my family never had a set stone place for us to stay.
Yep.
So they moved all over Canada. So I went through elementary in Ontario. I remember there was a school that I went to, Almera Elementary in Ontario. Mm-hmm. And then we started just moving, right? So my life was very rough.
Yep.
Right, growing up. I never had a childhood. It was very stressful.
Just because you're on the move all the time?
On the move all the time. My dad my dad would stay in Calgary for a year and then moved to Vancouver and then moved to Ontario,
Yep.
to Kitchener, to Kingston, to, like all over, like all over Canada. Right.
Just unsettling when.
It was a lot of struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, as I, when I did my quick research on you and what you're part of now, we'll get there. But like, it kind of makes sense with what you're up to now based on what you kind of went through as a youngster.
Yeah. So I never had a childhood, and it was struggling growing up.
Yep.
Right. Adapting to the Canadian culture, adapting with my roots back home. And then I also have roots in Egypt, right? So my mom has some family in Egypt, all of that stuff.
Yep.
So, and then I think I remember my mom saying she had enough and it's time to move back. And then I think at that age I was 11 years old.
Okay.
And my dad's like, we're going for a surprise trip. And then we landed in JFK, New York. Landed in JFK, I was happy, and I was like, yeah. And then I woke up, I found myself in the middle of a desert, in the middle of sand, and it was extremely hot, right? And I'm like, what is this? And then my mom said, you're staying here. And then my dad went back to Canada. And then by the time I was 11 years old, my mom shared the news that I'll be staying here, I'll be studying here. Yeah.
Where'd you end up? Where was this desert?
Just the city of Khartoum. Okay. Khartoum, yeah, Sudan, yeah.
And do you know why? Like why they...
My mom had a rough.
Yep.
She had a rough. She engaging with my dad and divorced parents.
Yep.
Right. So she was looking out for her safety and she was looking out for us.
Yep.
And she wanted to learn our roots, right, and figure out what our roots are and how we can adapt to our Islamic culture and learn the religion at its core. So I studied high school. Yeah, part
11 years old when you go back.
Yeah. Part of elementary.
Yep. Junior high.
And junior high, all the way to high school, and then I went to American schools. So American schools, I excelled. I was like best student.
Just clicked for you, or you were interested, or what was it?
No, it just clicked because I grew up in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Like when I was a youngster, and and then my dad called my mom and was like, no more American schools for this kid.
Were you American schools
in Sudan?
Okay.
No American school. We're gonna shift him to Arabic schools.
Yep.
I learned Arabic and I failed dramatically in my life. And I started bumping heads with my dad.
Because he's trying to push you
Yeah.
down a path, and you're a year of age now.
Yeah, I'm an age of all this.
Got your ideas.
And yeah.
The idea of like being in school, you were good at it. Did you like the community around it? Was there friends? Like, was there like-minded people? Like, how did you kind of fit into the mix?
It was really, really hard.
Yep.
In the American schools, I adapted perfectly because there was other children that were, like me from the U.S., from Canada, and British schools. So I went from Canadian school, from American schools to British schools. I adapted perfectly. As soon as I shift into Arabic schools and local schools, they're like, "Who is this?" Fancy, dandy, English-speaking kid. So I was bullied, man. Bullied. Yeah, schools were rough.
You just didn't work.
It didn't work. I failed.
Was your brothers and sisters around? Like, was your siblings?
Yeah, they were.
They were all kind of like, you guys move around.
Yeah, all of us. Yeah. All of us had. We were in the same boat of schools.
Yeah.
Right. And then I finished high school, and I told my dad, I was like, "This ain't gonna work." This ain't work. It ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to come to where you brought, bring me back to Canada. So he brought me back to Canada. And that was, I don't remember, 2008, 2009.
Okay.
Don't actually remember.
Yep.
2009.
In there, yep.
Calgary. We landed in Calgary.
So he was here. Calgary was kind of home for him.
Yeah, he was here.
Okay.
And then we stayed in Marlborough Mall, like in the areas of Marlborough. Northeast.
You know, you can say it now with some conviction, but like when you finished high school, you knew that you needed to get back here.
I didn't want to study university there.
Right.
I didn't want to study university.
Just because it wasn't, nothing was comfortable over there.
No, nothing. It wasn't comfortable. I couldn't adapt to the culture.
Mm.
It was very hard for me.
Mm.
So I couldn't adapt to the culture.
Mm.
I adapted to the Canadian culture, to the schools that I went to, from Ontario to,
When you kind of decided that, you know, you wanted to kind of, was your dad on board with the idea of you kind of coming back here with him? Yeah. Like it wasn't this like this kind of uphill battle to be like,
no.
this is I want to be here. I want to like.
Yeah. He agreed to it and he brought me here. But then as soon as we brought here, it was like rough battles between me and him.
Just different
mindset.
Yeah.
It was a different mindset. I love him to death. Right.
Hard in the moment, but like.
Hard in the moment.
Yeah.
Knowing now today that I'm a father of a 4-year-old, I understand where he is coming from. And it comes with intergenerational trauma. You know, you're raised in a certain culture, in a certain way, in a certain household, and it kind of replicates for generations to come or in the back.
Yep. But as you're a youngster, there's no way you can connect all those dots, right? You're just like, my dad is this person that's like driving me crazy.
Driving me crazy. Yeah.
Whatever it is.
So, yeah.
When you got here, so you were done high school. What happened when you kind of got here? Where's the path pick up and like what's got your interest in working or like?
So first job, McDonald's, Tim Hortons. It was my first job. And then I love tech. Right? I love tech. And I wanted to go to school and do upgrading through SAIT and University of Calgary. Yep. But I was struggling with my pops. It was really hard for me. Right?
Just the
doing 2 jobs in school was really hard.
Yeah.
So then I decided, I was like, yo, my path. I'm going to do it my way. Did it my way, moved out, and got involved in the music industry.
And so when you decide that,
because I wanted freedom, right? You know, I wanted to explore what life is.
Yeah, just felt like there's like boundaries put on you, or there's like
a lot of boundaries.
And he had to say and potentially direction, like you need to do this, you need to do this.
If you don't listen,
right. So it's pretty like a disciplined upbringing, right?
Yeah, disciplined upbringing, and that was very hard for me. I'm like, other kids are like, you know, they're playing, they're reaching out, you know, they have it how they have it, right? I don't have a voice. So I decided to live life on my own.
At a fairly young age?
At a fairly young age.
Like, whatever, 18, 19? 18,
19, yeah.
Were you ready for it? You know, like...
No.
Like, listen, I different life. Like, I didn't, you know, I would get mad at my parents, be like, fuck this, I want you know, but I never had the courage, means, whatever to do it. But when you actually do it at a young age, what do you actually have to figure out?
So many things. How to pay rent, how to get a job, sustainable job, and all of that stuff.
And school,
school and all that stuff. So I struggled with school. So I enrolled in, I think I enrolled in Bow Valley, or upgrading through SAIT. And then I struggled. Then I tried to apply to University of Calgary. That didn't work.
Yep.
Struggled at SAIT. That didn't work. Trying to apply through IT jobs and learning IT. That didn't work. Failed dramatically. And then I was like, screw it. Let's do it. You know, let me live my life. Yeah. I was running away from a lot of trauma. And I got into music as a promoter. Just promoting music. Listening to music gave me the sense of healing, because I used to listen to Aretha Franklin and Tupac Shakur, and it reminded me of his favorite song, Dear Mama. And that resonated to me because I haven't seen the opportunity to meet my mom for a long time after coming back.
Yep.
So the words of Tupac was touching my heart. So I got into music, started promoting, and then
Just like randomly?
just
like,
randomly.
Like, was music always the thing for you?
No.
Like, no.
No.
Like as you're going through all the things and like.
Basketball was kind of the thing.
Okay.
So playing basketball and just going out and partying, man.
Yep. But then something clicked. And you're like, I want to dig into the music idea.
I had promoters that were like, hey, there's a lot of celebrities that come to our city, here promote some tickets and, start selling tickets. And I was a very good networker and a very good sales person.
Yep.
And I sold a lot of tickets.
So I worked in the nightclub world for a long time.
10 at 10. I don't know if you remember 10 at 10.
Where
It's
was
a club.
it?
A Roadhouse.
Oh yeah, Roadhouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I worked in clubs from, I don't know, man, like late 90s to like 2010-ish.
Wow.
So I worked in like Embassy, played Night Gallery, Cherry, Hi-Fi.
Hi-Fi. I
Like,
remember.
so-
I remember that. Yeah.
So as you're, so when you get into that world, music and nightlife, what was it that kind of like pulled you in? Was it the people? Was it the energy? Was it
the energy,
Yeah.
the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that life is dark.
And so it's interesting, right? I think some people, and I don't know what you're about to tell me potentially, but like sometimes that culture can chew you up, and there's a lot of people that it spits out, and other people like myself, and I've had a number of guests on the show that used to bartend in these different clubs, and just like spectacular humans, right? Just have this like entrepreneurial drive, the work ethic,
Yes.
the people skills,
The people skills, the
like
soft
all
skills.
the things, right?
Yes.
and they succeed.
Yeah.
So what was your kind of experience in the nightlife?
The networking and the soft skills and the ability to sell tickets,
Yeah.
right, and connect with each individual person who wants to come and watch these celebrities,
Yep.
rappers or
Yep.
musicians and all that stuff. So I was a very good networker.
Yeah.
I think it was a God-gifted talent.
Just
And through basketball, I was very competitive. I had that competitiveness in me until a dark night.
did it feel like you were in the right spot? Like was this like the start of like, okay, this is, I'm not, my dad doesn't have me here, like I'm kind of doing my own thing, get my legs under me, like it just felt like it was like you doing your own thing finally?
Yeah, it was doing my own thing. It was a lot of freedom,
Yep.
right? I was like,
Yeah.
like I'm free. I can go to school. I can work. I can
Yeah.
I can do so many jobs, And then through jobs, I scaled through. My first job in tech was selling computers at Staples and promoting at night.
The devil, yeah.
Yeah, and then got promoted from there to a technician fixing motherboards and laptops and software upgrades and all
Yep.
that. Northern Security,
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
all that stuff, and then promoting at night. Then getting a job at Shaw, and then getting fired from Shaw, and then got into oil and gas,
Yep.
working as an IT analyst.
Yep.
Then moved to Fort McMurray, promoting nightlife there. Came back to Calgary, did a lot of things, man. Until one day, a wake-up call happened.
That was obviously unexpected.
Yeah. So, shooting. Multiple shootings.
Yep.
And people getting shot randomly. Of course, it's, targeted, but that was a wake-up. And then me being beaten up really bad.
Yep.
And then until two of my friends said to me, like, you got to cut this life. And started playing basketball. And I just had enough. And then going back and forth with my father. It was really hard.
Yep.
Until I started playing basketball and then I shot a three-pointer out of pain. I said struggle is my success. My success. and from suicidal thoughts to, yeah, it was rough.
Yeah. Obviously, hearing your story for the first time, you know, the undertone here is the struggles. Like this wasn't a straightforward path by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
When your buddies, you know, when your friends say to you, like, you got to get out, what made you listen? Were you already thinking it or feeling it or seeing it, or what do you think actually clicked?
What clicked for me was, I don't want to be this person, right?
Mm.
This is not me.
Yeah.
I come from a good family. Yeah, obviously there's trauma, but I want to do right in this life. I want to make my mom proud. I want to make my father proud, despite the challenges that my father went, you know. So yeah, I just wanted to make that shift, and then playing ball was very an eye opening. Until a friend of mine, she's still around, and I respect her a lot, and she's still a close friend. And until she told me to start an organization. Started an organization back in 2012. And I'm like, yo, start an organization. What are you talking about? Like,
yeah. Weird, right?
Like this is, yo, like, I'm going through suicidal thoughts right now. Like, what you know? And like police and like,
yeah.
And you're telling me to start an organization. And I started an organization and went back home. Flew back home. And I saw, when I was young, back home, I couldn't adapt to the culture. But going back when I was an adult, I saw how people were living in poverty. And I saw how people were, you know, making ends meet. And people were taking a leaf off a tree and sewing it with zero capital, with zero money, and just sewing and turning it into a wallet. And I started networking, and I started giving some self-development courses on how I made it out, and I had a rough bringing. And I started to mentor youth over there. And it kind of opened them. They're like, this guy lives in a first world country and he struggled and now he's giving back.
Did you know that, like when you went back home, did you know what you were looking for? Did you have an idea what you're going to do back there? Or did this kind of organically happen?
It just organically happened.
You were just talking to people.
Yeah, talking to people.
They're
like,
hearing your story.
Yeah, they're hearing my story. And I was like, yo, I can help. I'm struggling to network. I'm struggling to understand people's management. I don't know how to deal with people.
Yeah.
You know, all of that stuff. And then I started mentoring until that's how I met my wife, actually. My wife was in Saudi Arabia, and she heard about a program in Sudan that was about, you know, self-development and entrepreneurship and leadership. And she's like, I want to join, you know? And then
that's you.
It was me. She's like, there's this guy. And then she flew from Saudi Arabia, attended one of our courses.
Which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
When you're there and you're kind of, you know, you decide to go down this kind of mentorship path and you're leveraging all your experiences versus the things you learned in school. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
It's kind of life experiences that you wanted to share with people. And did you know pretty quick that this was a path that you should be on? Did you trust it? Like, were you getting positive feedback? Did it feel like uplifting as you're talking to people?
It was authentic.
Yeah.
You know, and people were like, yeah, you know, you relate to me. You know, my dad did this. My mom did this. My family don't believe in me.
Yeah.
You know, how can I adapt both cultures? You know, how can I keep both cultures? And then, yeah, and then I had some good mentors. Those two friends, Ahmed and Ahmed, helped me a lot. And I had some great imams who helped me through my upbringing and mentoring me.
Yep.
You know, that God forgives. You have a second chance. And I think I'm gifted, man. I think God has given me the second chance to do right. You know, I'm so gifted. And if it wasn't for God, like, I wouldn't be the man that I am today. So that's how I met my wife. I never thought in a chance. She actually got me a t-shirt that said SRYS in it. Struggle is your success in it. And she said to me, you're going to make it. And I'm like, what does that mean? I'm going to be a millionaire? She's like, no, you're going to be satisfied in the work that you do. She did this t-shirt in 2015 as a gift for my birthday. I still have the t-shirt. Yeah, and so then I decided, while I was there, I spent 2 years in Sudan. 2 years in Sudan. And then I told my mom, I was like, hey, you know what? It's time for us to go back to our Canadian roots.
Which is so wild.
Sorry, man.
No, it's great, dude. I'm right beside you.
Yeah.
I'm like right with you.
Yeah.
Do you, when you're over there, kind of like speaking to like younger kids ish?
Yep.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like a dual purpose? You're helping this younger generation, but you're also like figuring your own shit out.
Yeah, at the same time.
So you're kind of like, yeah. That's what I'm just like, I can
at
feel
the
it
same
where
time.
you're both kind of growing.
Yeah, we're both trying to grow. So I told my mom, I was like, let's go back to Canada.
What was it? What was that trigger moment? You're like, I think I got this.
I wanted my brothers and sisters to have a better life. And I wanted them to have the taste of what is it to be Canadian and how to give back to the Canadian society. And we are privileged as Canadians to give back. And so I wanted them to understand that you have an opportunity to do excellent in your education. You have the opportunity to represent what it is to be an immigrant in this country. And then my mom's like, I don't trust. I was like, I got you. She's like, where we're going? I was like, I don't know. She's like, we're not going to Calgary. She's like, I have bad memories. I'm like, all right, Mom, where do you want to go? She's like, Windsor. And I'm like, why Windsor? Windsor, Ontario. I was like, I don't know anybody in Windsor. She's like, I have a friend. I was like, all right. She hooked it up, booked plane tickets, and then I came back in 2017.
To Windsor. Wait, everybody? Mom?
Mom, all of us.
The full fam.
Full fam. Stayed in a hotel. And then...
And this is all on your kind of...
shoulder.
Like your idea.
Yeah.
Whatever was in your head, you're like, this is it?
This is it.
And Mom said, okay.
And she's like, okay.
Wild.
And then we stayed at a hotel, and we didn't have a lot of money. We were broke. We were eating ramen noodles, right? We had family that supported us, and I couldn't get a job.
Looking everywhere?
I looked everywhere.
Anything.
Couldn't get anything. Then I got a job with Tim Hortons. I'm like, how old I was? 25? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, 24, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Got a job at Tim Hortons, and then a friend of a friend is like, well, you have IT skills. And I'm like, yeah, I'm self-taught.
Oh, God. That's what I was asking.
I'm a self-taught dude. Like I'm an autodidact. I learn things very quickly.
Yep.
Then I got a job through a contractor through AT&T. And then meeting my fiance, of course. And then everybody in Calgary, they're like, yo, the Moose is back. What are you doing in Ontario? And I'm like, I don't know. Then I come back.
When you moved to Windsor, I'm just like processing. All your siblings are going to school, or are they working, or is mom working? Or
no, nobody. It was all of me.
So it's like
supporting the whole family.
And the reason I'm asking is because I have these, you hear stories, right? These stories of people coming to Canada, and it's like, it's on somebody's shoulder to make it all happen.
Yeah.
So at a young age, this is your story.
All me, man. Yeah. It was really, really hard. And then meeting my fiance, she like we're trying to get married and supporting my family at the same time and working at AT&T. It was
hard.
It was really hard.
What was the thing that actually pushed you through it? Like, what's the force behind you to do that?
I think the drive.
Yeah. The drive towards what?
The drive towards doing whatever it takes to take care of your family. Whatever it takes, at all cost. Right? And I was very good at multitasking. So I have this two-prong approach where I can multitask and at the same time pay very good attention to detail. And then,
Calgary. Who
2018.
Who's poking you to come here?
I some friends.
Yeah.
Through ball.
Yeah.
Right.
Was basketball like this? You brought it up a couple times.
Yeah, basketball. Man, I'm.
That's
me.
Was it just the community around it? Was it the athleticism or what was the music, the culture? Like
the culture of basketball, right? In my early days, I tried out for the state Trojans. Didn't make it.
Yeah.
It was really hard. But I was very competitive. I could shoot. But I'm competitive. Even though I'm big now, but I can play ball. I'm very basketball. It's the community, it's the culture, it's Calgary and what it brings. You know what I mean? So 2018 we got married, my wife, and then I decided to come back to Calgary.
Yep.
And start a fresh life.
With everybody or just the two of you?
No, just me. My wife was in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Yeah, she was in Saudi Arabia, and I told my mom, "You're settled, you're good." Two of my brothers went to school in Windsor. Two of my sisters went to university. One graduated and married. They're all married now. Family's all married now. And they're working good. Two of my brothers work for GMC, Windsor Detroit border.
Yep.
They have stable cars. They can speak English very perfectly. And mom is just relaxing. She's like, you did something that not a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And then, that's when I made a move to Calgary. I was like, my family's good.
Yep.
My family's good. So I came back to Calgary.
With an idea? Or what? Like what?
I just wanted to come back because Calgary was like...
You felt it the first time? Like it?
Yeah. And then memories came back. Memories of shooting, bad past, bad decisions.
Yeah.
Being beaten up, being bullied was really hard. So, I couldn't get a job because, didn't complete school.
Yep. But you still came back.
I still came back.
Like, why was that? So, from the outside, listen, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But, someone goes through all these things, and then you want to come back to the city where all these things happened. Like, what do you think? Were you looking for something, or was it just like...
I think it's not that I was looking for something. It was Calgary was home for me. I didn't want to do the mistakes of, moving from one city to another city.
Yep.
And that's my upbringing, jumping from one city to...
You've been through it.
I've been through it. Yep. I didn't want to do that. One city, stick to it.
Yep.
Even though it was a bad past, you can always do right.
Yep. And
again, it goes back to what I'm trying to tell you. God has given me a second chance to do right in this city. So I came back to Calgary.
So 2018, you come back.
2018, come back, and then,
No firm plan.
No firm plan. Couldn't get a job.
Again,
you couldn't get a job. Struggled, man.
Everywhere, applying all the things.
Yeah, man. Then I got a job. I got a job in one of the private colleges. And then building this non-for-profit. And then through basketball, I met some good individuals who helped me become who I am today. And then from...
Take me to this basketball where this happened.
Yeah,
paint the picture for where these games were, who was there.
Yeah, I think it was in Inglewood.
Yeah.
Inglewood. I met this friend of mine. He's still a board member, Abdel. And I was like, what do you do? I was like, oh, no, I have this non-for-profit that I'm trying to do.
And so when you say that, dude, I'm just going to keep poking you.
Yeah, keep poking me. That's why.
when you have this not-for-profit, it's an idea in your head.
It was an idea, yeah.
So it's there, but nothing had been formalized.
No, nothing.
You're dreaming about this idea.
Yeah.
And as you meet people, you're talking about it.
Yeah, talking about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to teach kids entrepreneurial, skill sets.
Yeah.
Right. And I was addressing something called the NEET status, NEET. So youth who are not in education, not in education, not in employment, and not in any type of training.
So you.
Yeah.
A version of you.
A version of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah.
So, connected through basketball. And he's like, I'm an entrepreneur too. You're right. Well, entrepreneurial skills are not taught in our city.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, what's this organization called? I was like, Struggle is Your Success.
You had the name. Had the name figured out.
Yeah. So I switched it from my success to your success.
Yeah. And
then it was the diamond in the rough, right? It's like the diamond in the rough. We all struggle.
Yeah.
We all struggle. There is nobody on this planet that will tell you haven't struggled in your life. There's some sort of struggle, but that some sort of struggle will get you the success that you need. It's like a small pill.
Yeah.
Do
you have the conversation at ball? I love how it all goes back to ball.
It goes all back to ball, and then we started this non-for-profit, and then changed the logo.
Yep.
To a more colorful logo.
Yeah, but actually stood it up. So the idea comes out of your head. You've been talking about it, thinking about it.
Yeah.
A couple of people just help you prop the thing up.
Yeah. And then my wife, I remember my wife at Walmart. So she arrived a year later in 2019.
Yeah.
And then I told her about it's not for profit and, working at private colleges. And then I got a job in IT, in the oil and gas sector while building a property. She went to Walmart and I told her, I was like, don't talk to anyone. And she's a newcomer.
Yeah.
That's a bad advice. I was like, don't, and she didn't listen. So she was in the international alley trying to find some tea, some sort of tea. And I see her talking with this Egyptian lady. And I was like, what are you doing? Didn't I tell you not to talk to someone? She's like, no. You need to listen to this. Hi. So I met this amazing woman, and she works in the not-for-profit space. And she worked at an organization called Immigrant Services Calgary. And then I was like, yeah. She's like, your wife was telling me about this, this organization. I was like, yeah. She's like, I have the perfect person. I need to introduce you. So she connected me with another Egyptian friend. Great person, man. He's the leader in our city. I don't want to mention names, but yeah. And then he connected me through another organization, through the Calgary Foundation. And the Calgary Foundation said to me, like, you want to teach entrepreneurial skills? And I'm like, yeah. Do you know who the Boys and Girls Club are? And then it grew. So partnered with an organization called Trellis Society. And then a couple of friends brought other people into the organization. And I got, it was a great partnership. And then I decided to, take the organization in-house.
Yep.
To where it is today.
So I could talk about a whole bunch of things, but
sure, bro.
A1, the Walmart thing is hilarious.
Yeah.
Don't talk to anybody. And it's the trigger that sends it. When do you, the transition from working for somebody, doing the IT stuff, as you're trying to build the foundation, do you call it foundation? What do you call it? Organization? Nonprofit.
Organization. Yeah.
So that kind of pivot moment, when do you realize that, when you realize that the not-for-profit needs more of your attention and then you got to figure out the work thing?
Late 2020, mid 2022.
So you kind of got two things on the go. You're trying to build. 2021
was kind of okay, I partnered. This is my dream. It was the best amount of money that I've ever made in my life.
Yep.
And it was a dream come true. Shout out to the Calgary Foundation. They're amazing. Such an amazing organization.
What was the kind of thing
I felt that as someone who is an innovator and someone who understands innovation and someone who understands design thinking practices and going back and trials and tribulations, I think I had the ability through my network and through connecting with people and being authentic and being a community builder, I can take this organization to where it is today. So I felt that entrepreneurial click, I needed to be an example of my own. Entrepreneurship is not easy. It's very lonely, Jeff.
Amen. I do the same thing.
It's very lonely. People can mistaken your passion for ego, and there's your internal battles, and are you the right person, and are you the right leader? There's a lot of things, and then what's going in your thoughts. It's not easy. It's really, really hard. So I wanted to take that role on. And now today we've impacted over 300 plus kids.
Amazing.
Some in the justice system. And yeah. And then I went on going back to my love to tech and decided that I wanted to build an app to teach kids STEM through AI. That's still in development. That's still, it's not.
That's the next idea.
Yeah, that's the next idea. But yeah, man, I'm a version of struggle. I'm a version of struggle, and I accept it. I acknowledge it. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to work around it and give it back to the community.
When you deal with things, when you struggle, whatever that struggle, everyone's struggle is different, right?
Right.
And whatever that, there's no like blueprint for what struggle is.
Yep.
What do you think it is that actually pushes you through it, or allows you to actually see past it and actually still have a vision for what's possible? Because some people could struggle and could just go down this dark path. There's nothing for me. There's no hope. There's no, it doesn't work. Or you can kind of see through it and see what might be out there. What do you think that triggers to allow you to do that?
The mindset. Accepting who you are. How do you shift your mindset? And how do you connect with the right people? And from all of the provinces across Canada, Alberta and Calgary is where it's at when it comes to connecting with the right people. To shift your mindset is not easy. It's extremely hard.
I'm guessing this is part of as you're mentoring people and kids, and this is part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Is it coachable? Is it learnable?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your kind of approach to it?
What's the dream? What's the plan? And how you're going to build?
You got it dialed.
What's the dream? What's the plan? How are you going to build? And do you actually love it?
Yeah.
We have youth who now they're like, I never thought myself that I have that talent. So for me, what was my gifted talent? My gifted talent was networking from my past.
Yeah.
And just reaching out to the right people.
Yeah.
And mentorship. Mentorship is huge. And it's okay to struggle, and it's okay to fail. If you're not failing, then I don't know what to tell you.
Because you're kind of complacent, right? If you're not trying.
I don't want to say it's a motivator. It's that spark.
Yeah.
To do right.
Do you think everybody has that, like that reaction to struggle and failure?
No.
Yeah.
Not everyone.
It's unique, isn't it?
It's very unique. Can it be rebirthed? Yes. Can it be created in someone? Yes. But it can only be created through your authentic self.
Yep.
What's your dream? What's your talent? And how can you innovate around that? That's the power of innovation. And that's the power of mentorship. And that's the power of entrepreneurial skill sets. How can we give the youth the ability to understand, to use the entrepreneurial skills through their dreams, through their plans, and through networking to foster a sense of belonging, a sense of community that will result in an opportunity for them to go back to academia and back to employment. And with Calgary's new name, Blue Sky City, and the ecosystem, it fits perfectly.
Yeah. It feels like more like emotional IQ versus like A's and B's in classes, you know?
Right.
It's kind of like real, I don't want to say real world, but it's like, it's rooted in kind of like life lessons and like real ideas versus the theory. School of theory, right?
Yes. Real life lessons.
Yeah.
And I think what these youth need is real life lessons that can result back to what I said.
Yep.
So
what does it actually look like when you're actually facilitating these conversations? Is it, again, I know shit about, I don't know anything about what you're up to, but is it like group environments where there's kind of speakers and talk? Like how do you actually facilitate this thing happening?
So with Strugglers or Success, it's kind of through a 5-week program.
Yep.
Five sessions, 5 hours,
Yep.
or a little bit more. It's kind of like a Shark Tank, Dragon's Den type of environment, where these youth have the ability to unearth their potential, but also have the ability to pitch their ideas, their careers, their dreams in front of a panel of judges. Right? The difference that Shark Tank gives out money and Dragon's Den, I don't. I give an inspiration of networkers,
Yeah.
and entrepreneurs and leaders and change makers and policy makers that want to invest in the youth after they know what their dreams are.
Yeah.
And understanding what their plans are and understand how they're going to build it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All ages?
14 to 25.
So 14 to 25. So when I think about myself in that age window,
You know,
if someone was going to ask me those questions, you know, like dreams and like all these,
you want to know.
I'd have no fucking idea.
Exactly.
And maybe because I thought about a lot of things when I was like early 20s. I'm like, where am I going? I'm a bit of a deadbeat.
Yeah.
So, you know, to actually give energy to figure that out. Do people struggle with that?
Some do.
Yeah.
But some know that they have a talent that's been hidden. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And the focus always goes back to school, right? They're like, okay, I want to be a doctor, so I think I'm going to use the entrepreneurial skill sets on how to be a doctor to make sure that if I'm rejected from other schools, I can keep going, and then eventually I'll get into Mexico and start my own practice. So it's that shift mindset.
Yeah.
I think if I had this program
When you were going through it?
in my early childhood, I wouldn't be what I went through.
Yeah.
I would be like probably somebody else.
Completely. Yeah, your struggle. You wouldn't have had this, you know,
No.
the struggle to actually get to this point.
Right. So it's an innovative program that allows them to be accepted of who they are.
Yep.
It's hard to be who you are.
Yeah.
It's hard to create that authentic self.
Well, at any age too, right?
At any age, my man. You know?
And the cool thing about, I get to have these conversations with a lot of, you know, all sorts of demos.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, like, you never know what's really happening in somebody's head, right? At any age, wherever they are in their life, family, whatever, sometimes you just never know what's happening. Does it like truly fill you up to actually have these experiences with these kids? And
I'm fully satisfied.
Yeah.
Extremely satisfied. I think I'm also inspired by what Denzel Washington said. He said, first part of your life, you earn. Second part of your life, first part of your life, you learn. Second part of your life, you earn. Third part of your life, you return. So I've learned what I went through.
Yep.
And the second part of my life, which is now, I'm earning, but I'm also returning.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah. You're double dipping.
I'm double dipping. So I'm fully satisfied. Now I think it's not about me. It's not about my story. I think everyone struggles and everyone has a unique story. But how can you foster relationship building, community, understanding, acceptance, acknowledgement of what you're going through?
Yeah.
And keep moving forward.
What's your approach for, you said the word a couple times, networking, but right beside that's community. What's your approach to that piece of it? Like, how do you operate? What's your, we just met, 70 minutes ago.
Yes.
And I can tell how you present yourself and how you show up. You're curious, you can hold a conversation.
Yeah.
These kind of like soft skills, right?
Yeah.
Is that your move that you just, is that how you've built your networking community? Is you just show up authentically?
Yeah. Soft skills is it's not easy to master.
Nope.
But that's yes. Yeah. Just showing being real.
Yeah.
Being real, but also being cautious.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Mm-hmm. Explain that. So that's it, because it's a unique way to think about it. I've never heard those two go together.
So you can have an amazing soft skill and network with people, right? But you also want to be cautious of what's their intention, what's other people's intention,
mm-hmm.
right? And if those intentions align with your values. Because sometimes you can be very outgoing, you have a lot of amazing soft skills, and you're sharing a lot, but you can be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you create a framework that allows you to network professionally and acknowledge other people, but also understanding what their intention is, and what is your intention? What are you trying to get out of it?
Yeah.
So why am I here? This is a good example. I love your show. It's authentic. It drives people to community building, right? So I think your intention is perfect. It's amazing. For me, it's more about allowing the viewers to understand second chances, and second chances are important, and giving the youth the ability for them to thrive through innovation and know who I am. The Moose.
Yep.
Yeah. Was that cool?
Yeah, man. I'm like, you're just talking. My wheels are ripping. So this is the way it's supposed to be. You've touched on it a couple times, the idea around soft skills. And I love it because my whole life, school is a struggle, dropped out of Mount Royal 3 times.
Yeah.
And so, as people are learning skills and these life skills to actually attach onto jobs and further themselves, I didn't have that. I was like DJ dude in nightclubs and living a different life. And so you've said soft skills a bunch of times. Is it, I love hearing it because it's something people can learn, right? You can actually, if people know what the soft skills are, at least they can acknowledge them and understand they're a thing, and then they can hone them. That's what I find interesting is like, as you're talking, I imagine you're talking to these youngsters, talking about soft skills and networking, how to show up and all these things, how to think, be innovative. They're soft skills. Like you can't just open a textbook and be like, what are the soft skills and what do I have to learn, right?
Soft skills is not taught, my man.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting that you're actually talking about it.
Yes. I think it's important to adapt soft skills within corporate companies, within organizations, within small businesses, and in community associations, because it's a force. Mm-hmm. It will help you tremendously in so many different ways because it's relatable to other people.
Yeah.
There's that relationship piece. So,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right? Like it's
very interesting. But how do you, so the innovative part is how do we create a framework around soft skills that injects boundaries
yeah.
and injects community building at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's my next move to the city that I love.
Yeah. It's interesting to actually come up with that framework.
Yeah.
That'd be it's a bit of a mind twist, right? Because you're taking this gray idea, soft skills, and then you're actually going to put a little frame around it and actually have some coaching around it, some tangible things that can actually guide you in this soft skill world, which I think is it's an interesting skill set to have. It's
an interesting skill set. And if someone can understand soft skills, you have the ability to have a lot of doors open for you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of doors.
It's non-traditional.
Yeah.
It's not like graduate, 4.0 degree MBA. Like, it's not that.
No.
It can be, but it's not that. Do you, when you're talking about that, is that message like well received? Is it landing properly, and are people understanding that this can be a different path?
That's a very good question, man. Not a lot of people can perceive that.
Yeah.
I think after how the ecosystem and how the economy is changing right now, with the rise of AI and the rise of technology, I think they're slowly trying to understand it.
Mm. It's hard, but I think what's interesting is that when there's people out there like you that are talking about it, that's different, right? Because when I grew up, there wasn't anybody like that talking, and I'm sure when you grew up, there wasn't many people talking about this. I think it's going to take time.
It will take time,
but at least somebody's talking about it now.
I think it's the revolution of like if we look at the history of artificial intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence was always there.
Yep.
It was always there.
Just different words or whatever.
Yeah, it's just different words.
Yep.
Now it's booming,
mm-hmm.
and now it's the face.
Yep.
Same thing with soft skills.
Yep.
It's always there, right? People don't understand it. They're like, yeah, do I need it? No. Mm. Can I learn it? I don't know. But knowing what's going to happen, like how the next 2 or 3 decades is going to be,
yeah.
I think is going to be a requirement for people to learn soft skills within the education sector.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm going back to school myself.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
What are you taking?
So apparently my vice chair.
Apparently.
Yeah. My vice chair in the board, Dr. Shirley Steinberg.
Yeah.
She's like, did you know you can go back to school? I'm like, for what? She's like, for your master's. And I'm like, master's?
You have nothing, right?
I have nothing.
Okay, just to be clear.
Right?
Okay.
It's like, what do you mean? She's like, through a ladder program at University of Calgary. I was like, really? She's like, you earn a certificate, then a diploma, and then graduating to a master's program. It's a special program at UFC. It's called the transdisciplinary program.
Yep.
Over 3 years, 3 years and a half. So I'm putting my application forward to take this laddered program to get my master's in education through generative AI.
No way.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be...
The reason I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing.
No, it's okay. Yeah. But I don't know if I'm going to be accepted or not. So
you're
it's
swinging.
It's swinging. It's an I never thought, and I asked her, I was like, is this like doable? She's like, yeah, because you have life experiences, and you've created an organization that can be considered as work.
Yeah, like credits
that you have done in the community. So we'll see. I mean, letters.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, letters of support. So
yeah,
there's a lot of requirements into it. Yeah.
You have a vision for what this becomes, and right beside that question, do you have any other, or no? How do you see this thing playing out?
I think that it's going to be an incredible organization for second chances for youth who want to proceed, have second chances in life.
Yeah.
It will grow, and giving them just the ability to unearth their potential.
Yeah.
So it will grow. How do I see it play out? It's going to play out really. It's going to take time. It's going to play out really, really, really well. and I'm part of the journey.
Do you just trust that this is going to work out, or do you also trust it and feel it and know that, you're going to put in the work to get it there?
I'm going to put in the work to get it there.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just trusting the process.
Yeah.
You got to put in work.
Yeah.
Work smarter, not harder. Like you can put 2 hours into a job
Yep.
that can be a ripple effect for decades.
Yep.
And you can also work 8 hours or 16 hours and not get anything done.
Yeah.
So it's that innovation piece that I'm trying to figure out. And if it doesn't work, struggle is your success. You just figure it out.
Yep.
Struggle is your success. If it doesn't work out,
Yep.
struggle is your success. Welcome to the to struggle. How to pivot.
Yeah.
How to take it to a level where it gets there.
Yep.
So if that means rebranding, if that means pivoting, if that means changing your team, if that means shutting down, right? But have the same message and starting another
Yep.
business on the side. It's all that entrepreneurial spirit and it's all that entrepreneurial mindset. It's just figuring things out and accepting the struggle and accepting the failure that it will lead to something. Because it's been proven that it will lead to something.
Yep. Was this on your radar? This feeling like so satisfied and filled up? Was it?
Never.
Yeah.
Never. I never thought that I would be satisfied in giving back to the youth. I never thought that one day I'll be doing this full time. I love this work. I love the city. Yeah.
Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely.
But
we went through waves.
And that's why this is an interesting experience, right?
Yeah.
Just because it's what I think from being on this side of the table is we don't have these opportunities to go back and connect a whole bunch of dots and say it out loud and to actually talk about the blueprint, talk about the common thread all the way through. It's because usually you meet people, right? And it's, hey, who are you? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. It's quick. To get in a situation like this where there's no time limit, there's no distractions. It's a unique experience.
Very. And I think the conversation is authentic. The lighting, the space, the golden cup, right? Shout out to the golden cup.
But it's
yeah, man.
So thank you.
Appreciate it.
I end the show with one question. When I say Calgary, where's your head go?
Man, that's a really tough question, man.
You knew it was coming, but for you, it's for you listening to the story for the first time, knowing how you're connected you are right now. I can see your wheels cranking because this is a
because I don't want to use the traditional words that a lot of the other presenters and guests who have been on the show. Innovation. Calgary's innovation. Calgary's innovation in so many different ways, from giving the residents of this city the opportunity to express themselves through innovative ideas, right? Through arts, through music, through tech, through community building, through just being themselves. And I think people being themselves is innovation.
It makes sense to me. It's
do you think so?
Oh yeah, for sure. The innovative piece, you spinning up your organization was innovative. Me spinning up this show, innovative. Calgary allows us to be innovative, have these creative ideas, and push. That's what the city. That's where the innovation. That's when you say that. That's what I think about.
Yeah, Calgary's innovation.
Thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much.
It's what's fun for me in this situation is I see you pop up on LinkedIn all the time. And you're here, you're there, you're shaking somebody's hand, doing whatever. I'm like, fuck it, man. So to actually hear your story, finally meet you.
Thank you.
It's a cool experience for me.
Thank you.
Thanks.